A declaration to restore the constitutional republic. National call for united action. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another and to assume among the powers of the earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident.
That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. This is from the U.S. Declaration of Independence. We the people of the United States of America hereby demand the immediate restoration of our constitutional republic and an end to the democratic socialist abuses and usurpations which have become commonplace in the daily corruption of our governmental offices. No longer will we sit idly by and tolerate the utter destruction of our country, at the hands of anti-American elitists in Washington, D.C. who have mistaken the people's peaceful tolerance for acceptance of their ill-advised behaviors. The time for all good and decent Americans to stand together, in defense of the Constitution, the Republic, freedom and liberty, has arrived. The rule of constitutional law must prevail. We call upon all who have taken an oath to protect and defend, to take appropriate measures now. We the people hereby demand 1. The immediate and unconditional orderly resignation of Barack Hussein Obama. 2. The immediate and unconditional orderly resignation of Joseph R. Biden. In addition to the known fact that the Obama/Biden ticket was advanced by way of fraudulent representations concerning the constitutional eligibility of Barack Hussein Obama, under Article 2 requirements for the office of President, the Obama/Biden has committed countless crimes against the U.S. Constitution, our Republican form of government and the American people while in control of the executive branch. They are not able to do this alone, but with the help and cover of many anti-American players, who have also acted at odds with their oath to protect and defend the Constitution, our Republic and the people of the United States. As a result, these players must be removed from office and held accountable for their actions as well. This group includes, but is not limited to the following individuals: the immediate and unconditional orderly resignation of the entire Obama cabinet, including but not limited to the White House staff and elected czars, Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton, Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, Defense Secretary Leon Panetta, Attorney General Eric Holder Jr., Interior Secretary Kenneth Salazar, Acting Commerce Secretary Dr. Rebecca Blank, Labor Secretary Hilda Salas, Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius, Energy Secretary Stephen Chu, Education Secretary Aaron Duncan, Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano, EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson, Office of Management and Budget Director Jacob Lew, UN Ambassador Susan Rice, the entire Council of Economic Advisors, Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, House Speaker John Boehner, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, Senate Leader Harry Reid, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, all of whom have committed treasonous acts against the people, the states and the U.S. Constitution. Further, to reinstate the rule of law and the law of this land, the U.S. Constitution and our constitutional republic.
The immediate and unconditional dissolution of all special interest congressional caucuses, including, but not limited to the Progressive Caucus, the Black Caucus. In addition, the immediate closure of any and all congressional committees which have been given unconstitutional powers, including the Debt Committee, of 12 just formed. Individuals are elected by the people to represent all of the people, not special interest groups. that each state government immediately act to enforce its 10th Amendment right to protect and defend the people of their state against a tyrannical central power in Washington, D.C., by recalling all state guard troops home to protect the sovereignty and security of their respective citizens, as well as state resources and governments, and take the necessary actions to balance their own state and local budgets immediately. These are our initial demands, and nothing less than complete compliance with each of these demands is acceptable to the people of the United States. These demands have been published for public support and delivered to all members of Congress.
At this late date, the individually itemized list of abuses and usurpations would require an encyclopedia of unconstitutional offenses to the Republic, and there is no evidence to suggest that there remains even one legitimate honest courtroom in the country to which all evidence could be presented. There is no article or amendment of the U.S. Constitution which the current leadership in Washington, D.C. has not abused and or usurped over the last 3 years. As a result, the normal courses of action for redress may not be adequate to solve the problem today, as all three branches of the federal government are currently acting as one, all of them beyond the scope and power granted them by the Constitution, against the principles of freedom, liberty and self-governance, and at odds with the vast majority of citizens. Yet the constitutional representative republic must be restored, no matter the means or the cost. It is on this foundation that we morally and rightfully call for all good people to rise up, stand together, move to restore the constitutional republic, and hold those who have and would stand against the people fully accountable. We the people. On behalf of the veterans and former service members of America, who fought and died for freedom and liberty here and abroad, and all good and decent American citizens from sea to shining sea,
we the people of the United States of America hereby demand the immediate restoration of our constitutional republic, and an end to the democratic socialist abuses and usurpations which have become commonplace in the daily corruption of our governmental offices. No longer will we sit idly by and tolerate the utter destruction of our country at the hands of anti-American elitists in Washington, D.C., who have mistaken the people as peaceful tolerance for acceptance of their ill-advised behaviors. The time for all good and decent Americans to stand together in defense of the Constitution.
We are openly calling for the American people to draw a final line in the sand and take a moral and righteous stand for the constitutional republic, the rule of law, and the future of freedom and liberty. The time to be tolerant and silent has passed, and the time for serious action has arrived. Only the people can restore the Constitution as the supreme law of this land. We must do it peacefully if at all possible, and our founders provided all the tools necessary for peaceful corrections of the ship set off course by internal enemies. We are calling for the following specific actions by every active and former service member and every patriotic citizen, no matter their political stripe. We call upon all members of the U.S. military, the U.S. Supreme Court, federal, state, county, local law enforcement, and all intelligence agencies to direct all assets of the people of the United States towards the restoration of the constitutional republic, and stand with the American citizens in compliance with their oath to protect and defend the U.S. Constitution and the people of the United States. We call upon all American citizens to provide necessary pressure on all law enforcement, judicial, intelligence, and military agencies until those who have sworn to protect and defend the Constitution begin to act upon those oaths. The current administration has done all it can to whip racial tensions and class warfare into full-blown riots and civil war, including scheduling a U.S. Day of Rage for communists, labor union socialists, illegal immigrants, Muslims, and blacks across the country. Their Day of Rage was scheduled for Constitution Day, September 17, 2011, and, although it was a total flop, they will continue to rage against America. It is an open assault on capitalism, waged by modern-day Marxists, who must be stripped of their entitlement mentality. The left is also planning a Cairo-style occupation of Washington in October. We, the veteran defenders of America and the United States Patriots Union, call for a unified march from all 50 states to Washington, D.C. on Friday, November 11, 2011, Veterans Day, led by American veterans and former service members with a clear purpose to demand the immediate restoration of the U.S. Constitution, the removal and prosecution all of the individuals named herein by voluntary resignation or articles of impeachment, and the end to Sharia law on American soil. The Veterans March on D.C. Day in defense of freedom, liberty, and justice. We call for all Americans who truly do support our troops to march on D.C. with our veterans.